All right, looks like we are back. We had Dom finishing first with a great time. We did have two bridges in Bowser's Castle area, but only one of them was required. The other one was to the left, and Dom did do a fantastic job getting through that. Had a little bit of an issue with Bowser at the very end. There was a couple of fights. The castle got the best of him, but did finish up with a time of 49:57. So he has taken the win there, and we will be getting started here as quickly as we can into the next one. We do still have one more race after this. We are doing just two races and trying to get all caught up here as well. We had a bit of an issue with a slight problem as there was a power outage, so unfortunately we were unable to get that right back up immediately, but the SpeedGaming team has done such a fantastic job of keeping everything up and going, and got this back up immediately, which is very impressive. So kudos to the team for everything that they were able to do in regards to getting that done. We certainly do appreciate them and everything that they do. Obviously, we would not be here without them, so we extend a special debt of gratitude to them as they are bringing us back quickly and getting us back into the action. So we say thank you so much to them for that. Meanwhile, we do have Frankenroc currently working on World 8, wants to figure out where the Bowser Castle is. The bridge is still out, does need to still figure that out. And Bonsai Bier, we are thankful so much for that. You guys go through a lot with us, sometimes on behalf of us, sometimes against us, I don't know, but no, hopefully not. Hopefully it's a joy in both ways. You know, we definitely appreciate being here with you all, and we do look forward to this. This is one of the highlights of my week, being a part of these, so thank you so much. We do love being here as well. So 7F2 is, or I'm sorry, 7F1 is possibly required. We don't know. I was doing my best to pay attention to what was going on Dom's side in the race time channel, but by the time I got there, there was mostly just Bowser's Castle to end with. So either way, Frankenroc going to have to find a Tanuki suit, and we'll be looking for Bowser here momentarily. Alrighty, looks like Frankenroc currently on his fight with Bowser, and unfortunately does take a rogue fireball there, which will cause the Tanuki suit to disappear. But do not fear, that is not a huge issue, as the Tanuki suit is really no better or worse than a mushroom here, as it does shots for Bowser to fall through the floor, And of course, he will jump back and forth, so it does take 5 jumps at the very least for Bowser to be jumped through and actually get to the end of his brick level in his castle. Meanwhile, Frankenroc just doing his absolute best to stay under Bowser where he can't be hurt, because Bowser does not have a hitbox in the bottom half. And that will do it. So get your GGs out in chat for Frankenroc. Just a fantastic job on both sides for both of these runners. And really for Frankenroc, just what a way to stay in the game. Keep yourself in it. Keep yourself moving and doing the best you can, really. I mean, there's just a lot of things that could go wrong and really did go wrong with 7F2, with 7-8, with a lot of different things. You know, just you love to see the guys go through and do their absolute best, and for that we are definitely appreciative of that. But we're going to go ahead and get this second race room get set up and started here in just one moment. So please bear with us as we get this all set up, and we'll be back in a moment. In the meantime, definitely get your popcorn ready, your chocolate bars, smoothies, shakes, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you enjoy to eat while watching the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer. Maybe you want a big boss bass on a stick. If you can make that happen, let me know. I will buy 3 because that sounds very entertaining. Or maybe sushi, cheap sushi, if that's a thing that you can possibly make. You know, let's talk. That could be very interesting. I'm sure that would be a popular seller here. And, you know, could be interesting. Either way, we are getting these runners set up here in just one moment. And we'll be getting started as quickly as possible. This time, instead of instead of the group stages that we were just playing with the flags, as being a question mark only, we have now switched over to a standard bracket. Now what that means is we're not going to play with anything changing up the levels, at least the way that they look. We are still randomizing just about everything with that we possibly can. And it looks like our runners are just about ready to go. But we are going to allow the end card game. We're going to allow the hammers to break their locks. We're going to basically do everything that we can to make this interesting. And our runners are going to have to get through it as quickly as possible. So a couple of real long times in this last one. That kind of happens to be what happens when I play Roll the Seed. Yes, Kalak, we are back. We had a bit of a power outage, but the SpeedGaming channel is absolutely wonderful. We tagged them. They came running. And they brought the whole fleet. They were doing everything that they could to bring us back. And just absolutely remarkable. They have done a fantastic job. And we are ready to get started in the second game, where Frankenroc is looking for some redemption. Dom is looking for a shout out. And here we go with the action. This is going to be a lot of fun. Macobra 52 has already taken the first place spot for this group, cannot be removed from that first place spot. And as far as I know, is still ranked number 2 overall in the current race times, because it will be based on race time averages once it is all sealed away and everything. So once everything is solidified in terms of who's going on the brackets, it will then turn into the fastest times. So there is going to be a bit of a schedule change once we get into the brackets, but of course we'll worry about that later. What is important right now is that Macobra 52 has taken the number 1 spot. Ricky of Kokiri can still play a little bit of a spoiler when it comes to Frankenroc versus Ricky of Kokiri. At this point, Dom RTA has now gotten 3 wins, which means if Frankenroc is able to do a split here, then it will go to the fight with Ricky of Kokiri. And if Ricky is able to play spoiler and take 2 from Frankenroc, then it will go in, or I'm sorry, if Frankenroc is able to beat Ricky of Kokiri 2-0, then both of the runners will be 3-3 and it will go to time averages. So definitely Frankenroc not out of it yet. Really needs to put that on display here. Really needs to have a crisp run. Had a very tumultuous time last time, but held in there, still fought well, only was down, I believe, about 10 minutes, which between 7-8, 7F2, and a couple of those, that was really the biggest problem that Frankenroc had in this last one. So, you know, get yourself in this game, get yourself motivated, ready to go, get yourself in the place where you want to be, and stick it. Make it so your opponent has to beat you and in order to win. Like, definitely put the pressure on them to perform as well as they can. And that starts with you performing as well as you can. So hopefully we can see a bit of a more aggressive run, I think. Let's see some more strategy. There was still the hammer play that I kind of disagreed with a little bit in the last one of playing it at World 3, just so you didn't have to go through the scene transitions. And unfortunately, a missed button there press from Frankenroc, as instead of jumping, he did grab the next block. And that meant the Cheep got its way, and he will have to play this over. Meanwhile, Dom does go on to World 1-5, and will be utilizing a Koopa shell for just a little bit of added protection. So as Frankenroc does go through 6-10 here, looking to see if he can get through without any more damage from that Cheep. There is a turtle shell that just needs its wings unattached, and then he'd be able to use that. The Cheep does go over, and okay, he is through for now. He's going to let the Cheep go through, maybe take an item here, is able to get a mushroom for his efforts, and I definitely think that's a really good idea. If nothing else, it's a great way to do a damage boost, so hopefully he can hang on to that here for a little bit, as this Cheep is not fun. Definitely taking a cautious approach here, which I like. You know, there's a lot of things that could possibly go wrong, as he very well knows. But at this point, you know, he's actually through 6-10. So Warren Death, and he was able to reconvene, was able to rethink about it, able to re-engage the mental capacities, and now is on to the next fight, which is going to be 1-5, which we just saw Dom play. Dom is currently through World 1 Fortress, as we were talking about earlier. There's 2 ways to beat World 1 Fortress. One will break a lock, the other will not. If you beat Boom Boom, you break a lock. If you don't beat Boom Boom and you go after the item, then the lock does not get broken, which means it cannot be critical to the route. Because if it was, you'd be soft locked and you could not actually move on. So now Dom has found a frog suit in the hand level stage, which means if there's another hand level stage, it will have a frog suit. And in this world too, the fortress actually really not required. So World 1 makes a lot of perfect sense here, because whether or not you break the lock doesn't matter. It's not in the way. If you went down to the 2-5 area, or if you went up to 2-4, either way, you're going to play the exact same amount of levels. So really just not a big deal at this point. Pretty open to this degree. And, you know, really just looks like these 2 guys are going to be running for whatever they can get. And a pretty jet start so far. 4-1 will be the level that gatekeeps the airship. And let's kick things up a notch. It's usually not very easy for me to get all the worlds in, but we'll certainly try our best. So I want to see if we can guess the world airship and then the next world. So if you want to go ahead and put in your world and put an A either in front of it or behind it to indicate airship, and then if you want to do a W or something like that to indicate world, very much like Kalak just did there for World 4, let me know. I'd really like to see if you can figure out maybe some of these guessing games. Let's go ahead and do this. Or better yet, maybe give me a couple numbers. Do the first one is the airship. The second one is the amount of hits that it's going to take. And the third for which world's coming up next. So I would have, well, it doesn't matter what I would have guessed, because this is airship 3. I think Wendy is going to take, or I'm sorry, Morton. We're fighting Morton here. I think he's going to be a 4-shot. I think he's got a little bit of an easy world. So we're going to go with 4 shots, and I think that, you know what? Let's just say 4 next. All right, 2 hits from Kalak. I said 4. It is an earthquakey Morton, and it looks like we were both incorrect. It was 3. Kalak with the guess of World 7 next. I think that's going to be interesting for sure. So Kalak with the correct airship. 1 shy of the hits on Morton, and World 7 is next. We will see for sure. Mantis Factory with World 7 next. That will be interesting, and we will have to wait and see. If so, that is going to be the exact same start that we had last time. SpeedGaming 2 is just right over the party at 16. We definitely welcome you to the channel. We are in the middle of a Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Tournament group stage race between Frankenroc and Dom. Dom was successful in the first of the 2 races in taking down Frankenroc, as he was able to get through 7F2, 7-8, and all the mischievous little levels that we had, and was successful in taking down Bowser first. Meanwhile, Frankenroc had just a little bit of an issue early on, but will be fighting back tooth and nail to come back into this race and give Dom everything that he possibly has here. Frankenroc still does have a chance for a second place finish in Group 2 stage, so definitely a lot to play for still. And Frankenroc having a little bit of a problem with this Morgan, who has Earthquake. And I think I miscounted. I do believe that is actually number 4 hits. I think I might have counted someone right, actually. Either way, no big deal. 5 is always nice to Kalak and Rando. You have obviously never played one of my seeds, because some of those are very, very scary. But, you know, all that it really means is that you're just going to play a lot of levels, so no big deal. Just takes a little bit more time. But that is quite all right. We have quite a bit here for these 2 runners. Dom currently working through 3F1, home of the infamous door 3 or door 4 skip. But door number 6 is the one that takes you to the stair step. Excuse me, and that's the one that Dom does take here. Meanwhile, Frankenroc doing his absolute best to get caught up, as he does go through 3-1 first, and will be catching up as best he can, just about 2 levels behind at this point. But no big deal. There's still a lot of game to play. Still a princess to be found. Still a Bowser to be beat. And we were not done yet. So a lot to go. Meanwhile, Dom currently going through the Navy with a frog suit. Because in the Navy, you can be all that you can be. And that means being in a frog suit. And getting cannonballs the size of your head thrown at you. And even the size of your body, I guess. Those things are huge. Meanwhile, Frankenroc now into 2-5. And not a bad level here, especially if you can get the P-speed here. Doesn't quite get it, playing just a little bit more cautiously. I can't say I fault him on that. A lot of scary winged enemies here. And Dom with a takedown of the Navy's Boom Boom. So that will be the last fortress for him down here. And we do have a 9 panel, so I do believe that is going to be the end of it. And he will have a free open airship. So, Kalak, this must have been one of your randos, because that was quick. Now, go ahead and get your guesses in for how many shots it's going to take for Roy to go down, and get your guesses in for which world is next. I'm going to have to go with, let's go with 2, and I think world 1 is next. I think it's going to be 2 shots for the big boy Roy, and we'll come back to that here in one moment as we watch for Frankenroc to do what he can do to get caught up here and split that difference a little bit more. All right, we got a 1-hit Roy and a World 3 next from Kalak. We've got 2 hits into World 3. All right, a couple of really good guesses here. 1-hit Roy means a small boy on the side of Roy in World 5. And that is quite all right. We had a bit of a grueling seed last time. I believe both runners were still in World 1 at this point, so marked improvement on both sides. No thanks to me in the first race, but these runners just showing off their skills here. One more fortress, which is Navy for Frankenroc, will lead into the airship that's coming up next for him, so doing his absolute best to get caught up. Dom with the pyramid level. And a great guess on the side of Mantis Factory. So very well done. World 3 is home of Wendy. We'll be seeing what menu item we do have with the amount of hits it takes to take down the Wendy Nader. Meanwhile, Dom just doing an absolutely fantastic job of getting through Pyramid. And Frankenroc showing off the skills, saying, hey, I'm not done yet. Dom wasting just a little bit of time to wait for the piranha to come up and go back down. And Frankenroc onto his fight. And we do apologize. The stream has just ended, but it's coming right back, so don't go anywhere. And we're back. Excellent. Very good. World 6 airship on the side of Frankenroc. Okay, apparently just my stream went down. No big deal. We're still here. We're good. Dom is currently on his way through. Hopefully he can use the tail to his advantage. And on 7-2, not a terribly tough level with the tail. And Dom does finish this off. Meanwhile, Frankenroc does take down Roy, the boy, Johnson from World 5, home of the Sky World. The undisputed champion. Anyway, so Dom now taking on where World 3-2 would usually be, and that is, of course, 8-1. And he is going to use the tail and exercise his caution, whereas Frankenroc looks like a man possessed, doing his best to get caught up here. And we got ourselves a race. A tail comes out, but of course S3 or SMB3 does not allow you. Oh dear. Okay, a little bit of a glitch there. I thought I haven't seen that enemy before. And a rogue nipper does take down just a slight misstep of Dom, and he is going to pay for that. Meanwhile, the pyramid level does come up for Frankenroc, and he is now just a level behind. Dom takes a mushroom and says, hey, I got this. I'm going to do my best. He takes a star. He's able to get through those piranhas. We'll see if it's enough to get through the rest of the stage. It is not. He takes a misstep, and that is now a fall into the hole. Meanwhile, Frankenroc right on his heels and says, hey, I'm coming for you. He is going to do his best. Plays just a little bit safe here. Doesn't know what items or enemies are down there. Is able to get through no problem. Karibo Shoe plays just a little unfair, but Frankenroc is still okay. Is able to get through the end of the pyramid level. And just like that, folks, we are just about tied up here. And a fanfare on the side of Frankenroc means he will get 5 more lives. With 8-1 coming up here in just one moment, I am sure he's going to be excited to have those. As we are seeing a very, very difficult level come up for Dom. I apologize, I forgot about 7-2. Either way, the gap is closing. Now just a level difference. We have Dom doing his best to not take down another shot on the nipper. Bullet bills are flying at him, and he's got a paratroop, but he's got to jump, and this jump will cost him yet another 100 coins. Time and money are both running out for Dom as Frankenroc is on his tail. Dom doing his best to keep his lead, but at this point, an 8-1 rogue is going too far for him. He is unable to get through this. He has a star. Let's make it count. He is going after the mushroom for a damage boost. Does not get the mushroom this time. Gotta get out of the way. Those flames are coming from the nipper. All right, he is able to beat the jump. He is able to get through one last jump of the piranha plane, and he is through 8-1. Meanwhile, Frankenroc now playing through 7-2 again. Had a slight misstep there. We'll have to play the level again, but still just about a level difference. Or about 2 levels difference now, I suppose. Dom's still trying to figure out this World 3, which is absolutely disgusting. We have a World 5, well, 5 levels to start World 3, I should say. And these have not been kind to our runners at all. Now I'm going to have to exercise a little bit of caution as he is down to only 2 more lives before he gets into trouble territory where game over could be imminent. With 2 mushrooms currently in his block, it would not be dangerous at all to get 2 mushrooms. He is awarded a 1-up that will give him just a little bit of a buffer. Whereas Frankenroc is now into 8-1, and you have to love the chances with the tail. We'll see if he decides to use the beastie to fly over. He will not. He is going to go after he is going to utilize his tail to fall slowly. And hopefully, and unfortunately just a little too quickly there. He does take a death, so he will have to restart this level. Goes into a mushroom, decides to go ahead and play it. Dom with 2 Sledgehammer brothers who are not letting him get into the second level before taking to a hammer to the face. SpeedGaming has just rated with a party of 405. We welcome you. Hopefully your race was as entertaining as this one, because this one is getting very exciting, and we've only just begun. Frankenroc with a chance to tie up here and possibly force a tiebreaker with Dom. If he does take a win here and 2 wins against Ricky of Kokiri, it will go into the timer to see who has a better average race time, I do believe. Frankenroc definitely looking for a chance here. Tripped up on 8-1, having just a little bit of problems like we saw Dom have a moment ago, but Dom now extending his lead and will be looking for a fight with Wendy coming up shortly. He has finished off 5 levels to begin World 3. That does mean that all other pipes are going to be on the right side of this map, and possibly at least a fortress, maybe 2. We'll see if we can find that one here. Okay, fortress may not be required. We're going to have to wait and see where these pipes do go. Dom, not taking any chances, decides to go ahead and play 5F2. Home of the legendary, the one and only, the absolutely terrifying Leap of Faith, also known as the Jesus Clip, as it can resurrect a dead run and can bring you back into a possible good speed run. Of course, we're not going to see that here. That is way too risky for us. And let's be honest, 5F2 is the worst fortress you may play today. We have yet to see 7-5 so far. We have yet to see 6-6. Still a lot of levels to be played here. A rogue fire nipper could spell trouble for Frankenroc. He doesn't stay around long enough to find out, but the second one does get him. Dom is desperately looking for his fight with Wendy. Just tried that pipe. Now he's going to find another one. This could be the one that takes him to Wendy, or it could be a dead end. At this point, he will know which one is which. The one that he built the bridge for is absolutely correct, so a very good guess on the side of Dom. Will utilize the cloud on the 8 panel, doesn't know what it is, doesn't care. Decides that he wants to go ahead and get to his fight with Wendy and try to expedite this as long as he possibly can. World 1 airship is up. Get your guesses in for Wendy, how many shots it's going to take. I've got to go with 3. We're going to go with a complete combo. Just a regular combo meal with a Coke and a fry. I'm sorry, with a soda and a fry. We got a guess of 2, and also get in your guesses for, a quick shot on Wendy, only 1. No big deal. Get your guesses in for the next world as well. We got a guess of World 1 next. I'm going to have to go with a World 6. I think we got to get Frosty up in here, because the side salad is all we got this time from Wendy's, so might as well add some Frosty up into it. And we will wait and see for sure. Frankenroc playing a nice decision here to go ahead and take a star. I think that's a good decision. We'll go ahead and get a tail. Also a good decision. That extra protection will be good. And World 7 has come up next. The pipe maze. The one that is absolutely terrifying to try to figure out where you're going. A fortress in the beginning that Dom says, no thanks. And a 3 fortress World 7. So this is going to take our runners just a little bit of time, because there's a lot left to play. Dom has a Piranha in his sights as he decides to go after the Nippers that are playing basically a back and forth game with each other, but that is just not going to matter. Dom does take some damage there and will have to restart the level. Needing to be just a little careful here. Still avoids the fortress. I think that's very interesting. Every bit of magic that Frankenroc had went into getting through 8-1, but that is quite all right. We have a lot left to go, so plenty of chances to redeem himself, especially if he diverges from the path that Dom is currently taking. If it is that first fortress that Dom has bypassed several times here, that could spell a very big difference for our runners. Dom finally figuring out what he needs to know, and that is there is a lock directly in front of the castle. He will have to play a fortress. He decides to bypass the one that's right in front of him and is now going for the one down in South America. I like to think of World 7 as a world map, so if that was confusing, I apologize. But it just kind of makes sense. You've kind of got Antarctica along the bottom, and then you've got the 6 items, or 6 islands, I should say, which kind of makes up the difference of the map looking at the continents. So I like to describe it like that because it's easy to figure out which one's which in my mind. Either way, Dom currently blowing through his level with completely menacing speeds, and Frankenroc going through 3-8 here, blowing through it as well. 7-3 on the side of Dom. He just finished up and now into World 2's fortress. Dom and Frankenroc are both new runners to the SMB3 Randomizer group, so we are definitely thankful to have them here. If you do like what you see, if you want to give them some support, definitely feel free to go give them a follow. Consider showing some love to them. You know, just show your appreciation. We love doing this for you all. We love putting on these different races and such. With Speed Gaming, we love having them as part of helping to produce and host this as well. So we definitely appreciate all that everyone does for this to put on a tournament like that. And if you do like what you see, please feel free to follow not only the runners, but also Speed Gaming and all their wonderful channels that are full of wonderful content and randomizer races and runs and all kinds of fun stuff. So definitely be a part of that as well. But now we are back to the action as we have Frankenroc take an unfortunate misstep there, as 5F2 does not play nicely to him, and he will have to go back and play the Fortress here. But he doesn't know where Wendy is. He's just going to have to get there. Meanwhile, Dom now in his fight, coming up with Ludwig. We've been playing a couple of mini games here as we get close to the castle. Go ahead and get your guesses in for who you think, or which airship you think it is, how many hits it's going to take, and which world you think next. So if you want to put in something like A for arena or airship, and then your number, if you want to do the number of hits and then the world, we definitely are interested in seeing what you think. And now it looks like World 4 airship. We've got a guess for World 1 airship, World 1 hit, and World 1 next. So very interesting. We'll see if some of those come true. Definitely a lot of symmetry for sure. But we do have World 4 airship, so we'll see if maybe it's a 4-4-4 combo. And we do have a fight with Ludwig. It is 1 hit, so congratulations to Kalak, who does get that part correct. And an unfortunate death on the side of Frankenroc, so that will mean a restart of World 3. And we will watch for that here in just one moment. And what a world to unfortunately game over on, because that will mean that 8-1 does have to be played again. Meanwhile, Dom has finished off the Conductor of Chaos, the Coupoline of Comedy. I don't know. I'll work on it. Regardless, we do have the fight with Ludwig von Koopa over, and that is World 4. So it's the 4-1-4. And now Frankenroc into the pyramid again. Dom now on his way. World 4 does have a single level, which is going to be 7-1. We don't have Fort Knox yet. We just have 7-1. He will be going for a clip here with the tail. Not exactly the easiest thing to do, but we'll wait and see if he's able to get through that quickly. He does approximately 4 or 5 jumps in, and he is now through the clip and onto the next world, or next level, I should say. But he will get a fanfare first. Not a terrible decision. I think having those 5 1-ups, especially when you start getting that low, is a fine option indeed. 7-2 on the side of Frankenroc, and he will go for the music bridge, and then we'll turn around and go for a underwater to complete the part of this level. Meanwhile, Dom does take a hammer, which I think is very interesting. He does get a hammer out of that Boomerang Brother, so he will be able to utilize that on a rock, because this is a standard Group 2 set, meaning that in-card games are allowed, which I don't believe we've seen yet this seed. And okay, 7F2 or 7F1 on the side of Dom. He already has the tail, so that means a very quick shot on Boom Boom, who is about to meet his doom. So 3 shots will end it here for Dom. And Frankenroc will be going for an end card first. I don't hate this option. I think it's a very good decision, as Frankenroc could use a couple of items here, especially going into 8-1. Hopefully we'll see a tail come out. Oh! What? What? Okay, so we just had a very interesting glitch there. If somebody wants to clip that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. So Frankenroc had a in-card game up that he did not complete, and instead of having to play World 8-1, he actually was able to basically glitch it to where he didn't have to play the level. He just played the in-card game and did not actually have to play 8-1. So I'm sure a sigh of relief on the side of Frankenroc, as that one did give him pause in the last match, but this time is just not going to be a factor. So congratulations to him, I suppose. What an interesting thing to happen. I'm not sure I've seen that before, but I'm sure that Frankenroc is very thankful to see that, as that does mean he will be moving on here quickly. So great, great on his part. 3-8 coming up for him, and meanwhile World 1 has come up next, and a very fast World 4 for Dom. So just the time is clicking at this point, and Dom playing a very excellent run at this time. Now these will be the last 2 races for Dom, and once he does take a win here, if he does, it's still a little early to call it, but with the fight, or I'm sorry, with the win here, if he gets one, then he will be moving on to the second place seed, and he will not be dethroned at this time. So the last 2 matches in this Group A will be between Frankenroc and Ricky of Kokiri. I'm going to check real quick to see if that has been scheduled yet. It has. So that will actually be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern. So if you would like to see the remainder of the Group A fights, that will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern. And that will be commentated by Meowth Rocket. And coming up as well, tomorrow we have at 5 a.m. Eastern. That is not a typo. I did not say that. That is absolutely correct. But if you're up, if you can't sleep, whatever the case may be, or maybe it's just a really good time for you, whichever the case may be, Jay Coper is taking on Scarface Nico. Then at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have Disaster Caddy versus the Hacksaw. At 3 p.m., we of course have Frankenroc versus Ricky of Kokiri, as we just talked about. Also at 8 p.m., we have Magoo is Adorable versus Book to the Man. And then on Sunday at 2 p.m., we have the Beyblade versus Disaster Caddy. And then we have at 6 p.m., Glutamic Acid versus Stewie Cartman. So a lot of fantastic runs coming up. And like I said, if you're not already following SpeedGaming, what are you waiting for? Because we are going to be throughout all of their different channels, which is just amazing. Like, they have such a great team who is able to put on the restream for us. Always make sure that we have somebody there, or they have somebody there to help us. And I cannot tell you how much I do appreciate all that they do. I mean, if I'm running late, if the runners are having a little bit of a trouble, the SpeedGaming team is so wonderful to step in and help and do whatever it takes to get the run started and to go without a hitch. So we definitely want to say thank you on behalf of the SMB3 Randomizer community for all that SpeedGaming does. So thank you for that. And if you're not already following, seriously, what are you waiting for? I mean, there's just such great content. There's a lot of really cool things they do. They just finished up the No Kid Hungry Marathon, where they featured a lot of very fantastic runners who had a slew of games. I would tune in, and there were games I never even heard of that these guys were running. And if you like SpeedGaming or speed running for the sake of speed running, those were just entertaining by themselves. So definitely get involved, be a part of that. If you like speed running, be a part. If you like to do it yourself, get involved. There's a lot of really cool things that they do here. So either way, we're coming back to all the action where Frankenroc is now in World 1's airship, and he's looking to pick a fight with the side solid Windy this time. Just not a whole lot going there. Some of the Koopalings have been pretty light today. Seems like there's not really been a whole lot of terrible fights, at least none that I've noticed at this point. And Dom finishing without fanfare this time. And he does get a mushroom, which means a 1-up, as he did not complete three of a kind. And Frankenroc grabbing the midair wand grab, and we'll be going into a cutscene here in just one moment. Dom taking an unfortunate jellyfish dive. Got to watch out for those. They do like to get you, so you do have to be just a little bit careful as you try to avoid those. But this time, it looks like it was in fact intentional. I apologize. As he's trying to get through 3-5, he does take a tail, which does mean he gets out of here a lot quicker. So obviously he knows better than I do, which is why he's behind the controller and I'm behind the comms desk. And we'll keep it that way. That's a good place for us to be. Meanwhile, Frankenroc now into the fight in the maze of World 7. Also avoiding the fortress first. I think that's very interesting. I personally would have played it. If I see a fortress, I play a fortress because honestly, I don't want to have to do it again. Meanwhile, Dom is using that P-Wing to his advantage, or I apologize, the P-Speed with his wing, and that will mean he gets to skip the first part of the level, which can be terrifying because those are very close quarters, and enemies do like to get you from inside there. So does use that tail to his advantage, and is definitely sporting a pink Mario today. We had a little bit of love for that from Dulce H Guy. We do like to feature our different color Marios here. I know a lot of runners prefer the Rainbow Mario, where it just changes colors with each screen transition. Personally, I'm a fan of the gray Mario, and I do believe Frankenroc has a dark Mario. I haven't paid attention to see if it actually changes colors, and maybe somebody in chat would like to follow that. Let me know. Dom, meanwhile, with the pink Mario, because that's the way he rolls. Either way, it looks like a couple of 10 panels here. That one he just looked over was 10 as well. And that is going to be a fortress of 8-1. So the only fortress that you would come to in Bowser's Kingdom, and that is the one that Dom is currently taking on here. The absolute skill and finesse of getting through those rotodiscs is exemplary, as he is now into the part where we like to call it a 1 cycle or 2 cycle. If he can get this in 1 cycle, what that means is that he does get through this entire section without taking damage, as well as without having to do another or P switch, which he does do. So varied from the enemy set, which allows him to get through that absolutely remarkably, and now is moving on to the next part of his world. Meanwhile, Ludwig von Koopa just not in the mood today and goes down with a single hit. Dom contemplating, not for long, that he wants to utilize that hammer, which is interesting. He broke the hammer, but he still has a lock there, or a pipe there, I should say. So I'm not sure if that's the one that's associated with the one behind the rock, but either way, he has gone ahead and bypassed the pipe because he didn't feel it was necessary, and has blown through 4-2 without an issue at all. We will see if he gets fanfare here. He does not. A beautiful turn back, I should say, and is given a mushroom for his efforts. Meanwhile, Frankenroc is now entering World 5, which is Vanilla World 4. And Dom definitely was paying attention because that rock was a chance for a bypass, and now he is onto his fight with Lemmy. And that, of course, will be the World 7 airship coming up here. Meanwhile, Frankenroc not going after the clip or accidentally went through the level, and instead of taking an intentional 100 coin find, decides to go ahead and play it. Whereas Dom is now doing his best to get through the platform section of this longest airship in the game. And we may be on World 7, but that's no reason to stop the mini games now. How many, or which world do you think is coming up next? And on top of that, also get in your guess for how many bridges is it going to take to get to Bowser? This, of course, is based on the amount of fortresses, which is 5. There are 5 possible fortresses because there are 2 tank icons, or sprites, I suppose. So 2 tank sprites, a Navy sprite, which is a ship, and an Air Force sprite, which is the wooden platforms that they have, as well as an actual fortress, which is where a F1 typically would be. So there are a possibility of up to 4 bridges that could possibly happen, as one of those tanks will not actually produce a fortress. And so there is a possibility of 4, all the way down to what we call -1. So -1 would come up because there's a bridge, but it's to the left-hand side of where you would come up into Bowser's Valley. Now that, of course, is different from the vanilla game, obviously, because when you come up into Bowser's Castle area, the valley, we like to call it, you would come up on the left-hand side, and then directly to your right in the next spot would be the tanks, the super tanks that you would play. Well, we don't have that here. Dom, having just a little bit of a problem, didn't realize there was a platform under there, thought he missed the cloud, was able to get through that part no problem, and is now on his way. There we go. Very good, nicely done. But anyway, so we do have, where's I going with that? 4 possible bridges. Oh, right, the -1. So I was explaining -1 because instead of that super tanks, In Randomizer, it is possible that the pipe is where the super tanks usually are, and there could be a level to the left-hand side. That is not the case here. There is in fact 2 bridges, both are required. So congratulations to Angelic Jade 14, as well as Dulce H Guy, or Dolce. I guess it depends on the language that you prefer in that regard. Either way, a very nicely done job on that side. And we do get a celebratory Lakitu in chat. Very nice. Frankenroc now on his way through the notorious 7F1. That's the Fort Knox that everybody knows and loves. One of my favorite levels. It does not play by the rules of a normal fortress in Super Mario Bros. 3. So just a very nice job on his side. Or just a very nice job on the level in general. To kind of shake things up a bit, you know, this is one level that confuses new players because, wait, you put a pipe on the ceiling? Who does that? Well, Nintendo does, and I think that part is absolutely outstanding. World 4 F2 coming up for Dom. This is the one that you would play right before taking on the airship that leads you to your fight with Iggy if you were playing the regular vanilla game. The regular vanilla game not spicy enough, so we made it randomizer, and that's why we're here. Frankenroc now into his fight with the one we were just talking about, that is in fact Iggy. And that's going to be the end of it for him, so he will be moving on to World 6 here in just one moment. Meanwhile, Dom's still trying to figure out, wait, which fortresses do I possibly need? And he will be looking through the pipes to see if he can figure this out real quick. There are, in fact, 2 pipes that do lead to Bowser, so we will get into the dark room. Ooh, interesting. So there is a lock that is currently blocking Dom from moving into the dark room from that pipe, but that does mean he will have to go back and find another way, which he has done. Decides, okay, to go ahead and play the ship, or the naval ship, which is in fact super tanks. So that's a little bit interesting. Not exactly a threat, but pretty close. It's in where World 8 F1 usually would be, so if it was just a little bit later, we'd have a Fred, who is in fact the creator of the game. So anytime there is a actual level where it's supposed to be from the vanilla game, we call it a Fred, and the people in chat like to yell that. It's a good time all around. Frankenroc finishing off his level, Dom finishing off his, and now that is okay. That was the lock broken. So I do believe if the path to Bowser is not already open, then Dom is in fact going to have to play both of these levels on the left-hand side, which does mean a hand level, and we'll see if he gets a gulp here. He does. That is a free lunch for Boss Pass and an early exit out of the level for Dom, and he will have to see if he can get over the hand level. He does. I think this is a very wise decision to go ahead and basically save your spot so you don't have to try to go over that again. Looks at his inventory, sees 2 clouds and a fire. Okay. Interestingly enough, Dom thinks he's going to be able to cloud over this. Unfortunately, it is a sprite, so he does have to play the level because it does not go the same way that a normal level will. So Dom is going to actually have to go through this, but okay, Dom looks like he's going to look around a little bit. But that's just not going to matter. Dom is not done with this World 8. He does have to go and play this honestly. One of these fortresses I do believe is required because nothing else is available. There are no other fortresses to my knowledge. So we will have to wait and see Dom come back and actually play this level after he gets through the hand stage. That will be one more free lunch for Dom or for Boss Pass on the side of Dom. And oh my. So the pipe that he's currently going through is actually free because it's at the top part. It's actually where you would go to go to Bowser's Valley. But Dom has a lot going on in his head right now, and I'm sure he must be feeling a little bit anxious at this point as he is still trying to figure out the way to Bowser and does not know where his opponent is yet. So we will wait and see what happens here. Dom does have to go through this level, and Frankenroc with another a wild Tanuki appears. Command. Frankenroc now into world 6, which is the 7th world in our randomizer, and is making very good time in these last couple of worlds. So doing a good job so far. Dom just doing his best to continue to keep his lead. And will finish off his level, no issue at all. And that, of course, was I do believe that was 6-2 that we had. I'll have to check that again here in just one moment. And that is a loss of life on the side of Dom. So he is going to have to play that one more time here. And if you do like what you've seen, there is a link now, or a group of links, I should say, in the chat, which has all the information as far as the tournament goes. It's got the bracket, it's got the schedule, the Discord, and the game. If you are enjoying what you see here and would like to be a part, certainly feel free to. I don't race it anymore, but I still get the chance to commentate, which I do love. Hopefully it's not too terrible for you all. But either way, if you would like to be a part, we definitely would welcome you to the conversation in Discord, because we sure would like to see you there as well. We always like our familiar or new faces as well as familiar faces, and it is a good time. A hammer on the side of Frankenroc means he is on to the very last airship, and meanwhile Dom having a bit of an issue getting through this boss pass. And okay, it looks like he will take the pipe this time. That will take him down and around, and will pop him out at the top of the level. So now Dom is going to be making his way back to Bowser's castle, and we'll have to fight with Bowser here in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, Frankenroc now precariously going through World 7's airship, and will be making his way through to his fight with Lemmy in just a moment. Dom has figured out the way, the levels have gone, the cloud is left in his inventory, and Dom is now into a fight with Bowser. So we will be getting into that here in just one moment. We'll see if he's able to utilize that Fire Flower as a chance to take down Bowser quickly. Meanwhile, Frankenroc able to get through and has finished his fight with Lemmy. And Dom has just one more clip to go, possibly, and then a fight with Bowser. Dom going for a mac and cheese clip. Has tried a couple times, no success here quite yet, but we will wait and see him get through here in just one moment. Meanwhile, the king asking the question everybody wants to know: my cat's breath smells like cat food. Why? The world will never know. Frankenroc now into World 8, wanting to make some waves, get as close as possible as he can, and is into 6-3 now. I apologize, that's not 6-3, that's 6-2. Frankenroc into 6-2. Dom still in a fight with Mac and Cheese. It is not playing well. I think we're going to have to start calling this Little Mac here, because it is fighting back. And Frankenroc also a little bit concerned about that jump, wasn't sure how to make it. Didn't realize that there was in fact a platform underneath ready for him, and that will be a missed fanfare, which is good. You don't want to use a lot of time if you don't have to there. And Dom will be onto his fight with Bowser. So 30 fireballs later will be the end of it for Bowser. And that is it for Dom. Get your GGs in chat. Very nicely done on his side. And with that, Dom has sealed his place as the second place finisher out of Group A, right behind Macobra 52, and in front of Frankenroc as well as Ricky of Kokiri. So congratulations to our second place finisher. Very nicely done. that is a very hard fought race and group, and Dom RTA has done just an absolutely fantastic job of doing his best there. So we will look forward to seeing him in brackets, and we will also wait to see if we can get an interview with him as well. And we did just have a report that the average time for Dom RTA after all 4 or all 6, I should say, of his races with his other groups, group members, I should say, because you do play everybody in your group twice for a total of 6 races. His average time was 55:52. So very nicely done job on the side. Very nicely, a very good job done on the side of Dom, and just very well done. So we are actually now joined by Dom, and we would like to start off by saying GG and congratulations.
Hey everybody, thank you.
We were just discussing in race time chat, Pro A 007 did just say that you finished with an average time of 55:52 within your races. So very well done on that side, as well as you did just claim the 2nd place spot in your groups, and you will be moving on to brackets. So congratulations on that as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think the 55 was with that forfeit too against Macobra, right? Where I had a 2-hour time?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so not so bad. I was a little bit worried about that going in today, but it worked out, like I said last time.
So I do have to ask, because you talked about being a little bit concerned there. Why were you concerned? Was it anything in general, or was it just kind of the overarching feeling?
Oh, it's because the commentators brought it up. That is the only reason. But, I don't know, I felt pretty comfortable going in today. Huge shout-outs to Macobra52, who did the randomizer tutorial. After my match with him, he said, hey, if you're having trouble, 742, 78, just look up my tutorial. So I did, and played both of them in the first seed, and didn't do so bad. It was a lot easier thanks to that.
Excellent, for sure. So you talked about the commentators. Was that me? Did I say something?
I forget who asked me, or they said, why do you concede? You are gonna get an end time of 2 hours. I said, well, I did 2 of these today, and I'm pretty hungry, and I just wanted to finish. And then they said, oh, well, you know that the average time is, the second factor in whether you move on past these first couple rounds. I said, oh, well, I didn't even know that. So that was the reason why I was a little bit concerned, but also these seeds are pretty long, and I wasn't sure if I was playing badly or if there's just a lot of stuff going on, and you know, looking back at it after finishing both, I think it was because they're just long seeds. But I'm pretty happy too that the power went out, to be honest with you, because I died in Bowser's Castle over and over. Like, the vanilla stuff in Bowser's Castle doesn't really translate, and I was going down the stairs small, and I'm like, what do I even do here? Because you're never in that situation, firstly, and then secondly, all the orbs are in different directions. So I kept dying over and over, and then eventually I just took it slow and made it out. But yeah, pretty happy that didn't make it to the VOD.
And understandable for sure. Bowser's Castle is one of those that we kind of take for granted some of these times, because we see all these runners just blow through it so quickly. But really, it's not the easiest of levels at times. Sometimes you have to be very careful. So definitely understandable in that regard. But I'm sure we are very happy to hear, and I know Macobra will be very happy to hear that the tutorial was very well received and was a huge help to you this time. Because you were absolutely right. I was watching both of these seeds thinking, man, I have really got to stop rolling these.
I saw 7-8, or I think it was 7-4-2 first. I said, okay, you know, I'm practiced now, this will be okay. And then I saw 7-8 right after it, and I said, wow, I'm glad I looked at this.
Yeah, for sure. That was actually the biggest issue in the first seed for Frankenroc, was actually those 2 levels. So, and you're right. I mean, 7F2, not a friendly level for sure. So I think going through a tutorial is a very, very wise idea. So kudos on that. And yeah, 7-8 was right after it in that world to start. So nicely done.
Thank you, thank you.
We currently have Frankenroc going through what you were just doing. And I think you kind of surprised us with a few things that you had done. I feel like you were starting to get a little frantic in the second seed towards the end.
Yeah, I kept getting grabbed by the hand, and then I tried to cloud one of the tanks, and it turns out you can't cloud a tank. And you could only know that by doing a lot of randomizer, and I've played literally 15 seeds, and I had 2 clouds, which was a mistake. I should have used those clouds, but I had one. I said, well, let's just skip the tank, you know, because it's not a fortress. It won't break a lock. So I clouded, and then I went in it anyway. So that was really fun. Then the hand kept getting me, so I was starting to feel the pressure a little bit. And then in Bowser's castle, you know, I made it up with the fire. I'm like, great, you know, all I have to do is kill Bowser. And it took me like 20 tries to do the randomizer clip. And my hand actually went numb. Once I got the clip, I'm like, oh my goodness, if I didn't get this clip, I'd maybe need to take a second for my hand. But I feel like that clip, you either get the first time, or it takes like 30 tries. Because you can't get enough speed on that runway. Because if you go close to the left, you could fall. But you need to go close to the left to build enough momentum to comfortably clip, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. There are a couple of different mentalities and kind of theories going into that. I know some runners will actually only go about halfway, so they can kind of increase the amount of times that they do attempt to do that clip, because really it's all where it is in memory, and obviously we don't have any way of knowing that within the game. So kind of it's a chance to spread out a little bit and maybe kind of go for a range. So instead of going only for that all the way to the left-hand side, maybe, you know, split it up a little bit is an option. And you're actually not the only one with a bunch of clouds. Frankenroc, we just saw his inventory, and he does have 2 clouds sitting there as well. So it happens, you know, it is what it is, but it's all good. Live and learn.
Yeah.
But I did bring up the being frantic because it is scary, especially when you're that far in. You don't know where your opponent is. You don't know like all the things that are going on, and really mentally you're kind of focused on Bowser. And some of the things that we notice and kind of joke about on stream is not the thing that you're thinking about, especially in that moment. So and one of those things that we were paying attention to was that hand level was actually not required at all, and you kept on going over it, and I felt terrible for you because that pipe right directly to the left of it went up to the top, and that was free for you at that point. So it might take just a little bit more time, but you know, that is an awkward part. And then you also talked about the cloud, and if you don't play a lot of randomizer, you wouldn't know that. And that is, of course, going over the sprite there will not actually work.
Yeah, so you live, you learn. It looks like Frank just finished, so GG's to Frank.
Yes, GG indeed, and we will look forward to seeing him here again tomorrow, where he is going to be playing the last of his group stages against Ricky of Kokiri, and again, that is at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we will, of course, look forward to that as well.
Yeah, to touch on that clip stuff, I could talk a little bit about it before Frankenroc comes in. So there's a lot of factors that go into a clip, and the first factor is speed, second is subpixel value, then of course third is like where you land in the clip. And if you collide with the wall at max speed, you really increase your chances at getting the clip. So it's interesting to me how some runners will go halfway through when you can have the correct subpixel value, get to the right place in the wall, but not have enough speed to collide, potentially.
Absolutely, and unfortunately we are going to have to cut this short. We won't have time for an interview with Frankenroc because of the length of the seeds. There is a race coming up here in just 4 more minutes, so we are going to go ahead and close it down here. On behalf of all of us at SMB3 Randomizer, we just want to say thank you to the chat for being here. There's a lot of places you could be here today, but you weren't. You were here with us, so we definitely appreciate that. On behalf of SpeedGaming, the SMB3 Randomizer community, Frankenroc, Dom, this is Warpless signing off saying thank you. Keep randomizing, keep racing, take it easy.